Hey, this is Jack Downs with a little run through the images exercise. This theoretically was done in class, and you would have first heard me or watched a video of me doing a little presentation introduction to it about images. So it's a very basic exercise in which all you're going to do is make some folders, and we're going to put some images in. Two images we're going to use. We're going to make two versions of each. All these versions will be much smaller than the originals, as is the case for almost all web images. But we're going to make thumbs in full size. You'll see what the folder structure is here. A project folder called something like images 1. And there's no websites in here. There's no HTML documents. All we're going to do is images. Within the project folder, I made it originals. Within the project folder, I made two root folders called. I made a root folder called images 1 and my name, and then I made two subfolders in there called thumbs and full. So my folder system is like this. I have in my root folder, in my project folder, I have originals, in which I put the b-ball and the gym, which you will download those two images. There they are. That's how big they are. Not giant, but they're not tiny. Inside here, I made full and thumbs. Right now, those folders should be empty. If I remember to empty them out, good. I'm going to put two photos into full and two photos into thumb. So, following your instructions, first you're going to open up the gym photo, which is gymnastics. And here it is. It is a vertical image, and it matters whether things are verticals or horizontals, but our sizing we're going to use. If you notice on the handout, and this is the handout here, which you should make sure to review carefully, and it has screenshots too, which include the settings and so on that we're going to be using. Or you can just follow along here too. We say on verticals, the full width is 375. I also say I use the save for web method for this one. So that's going to be file, export, save for web. This brings up a big menu, and I don't know where yours is going to be set. There's many choices here. You want to go to JPEG high. And then you can ignore all the rest of these settings except for down here in the image size, the key thing here. If it bothers you that you don't see the whole image here, it shouldn't really, but you could do control. You could try to get in here and change the zoom. It doesn't really matter though. We'll see the whole thing shortly. So the width, it's very important that this be in pixels. Okay? PX, pixels. If for any reason this is in inches, you got to change it. Okay, so we said that 375 is the width. When I put in 375, you notice the height automatically changes, and that is fine. We're setting the width, and we're letting the height set itself. In other words, we're not cropping it. We're just worried about the widths. And the height is not too far off what our normal size would be for a vertical. Instead of 500, it's 545 pixels. And that's because this stays locked. We don't change that. And we just simply say save. It wants to know, how do you want to save this now? And according to my instructions, I'm going to call this, I say to call this one called Gym Full, I believe. Something like that. I'll call it Gym Full. And I'm going to put in the full, in my root folder, in the full, I'll say that is Gym Full. Good. Now I'm going to do the same thing. File, export, save for web. This is when I don't have to crop. Save for web does lots of stuff. It removes all kinds of colors we don't need for the web. It really trims the file sizes down enormously. Starting with the original again, this time I'm making the thumb, which is short for thumbnail, which is like a tiny image. It might be like in a gallery or something. This one's very small. It's only 75 pixels wide. You should have a feeling for how much that is. And 109 deep would be fine. We'll say save, and we're going to save this one as Gym Thumb. Okay? And it won't be in full. It will be in the thumbs. And I'll say save. And I am done with my gym photo. I can just close it up. Don't worry about it. I don't have to save my changes or anything. The nice thing about save for web is it never disturbs the original also. And so I'm going to say, I'm going to go open. I'm going to go open the baseball image. And yes, you'll always may get this message and just say, okay. Okay. So here's my baseball image. The idea with the baseball image is that I do want to crop it. I've decided I do want it to be exactly these sizes or something. So we're going to use the cropping method. Okay, so we're going to go to the cropping tool, which is right here. Click on the crop tool, and instead of ratio, we want width times width by height by resolution. Okay, good. So we're going to put some numbers in this for width and height and resolution. And if you looked at the instructions, you'd see that we'll start with the full size as usual. The full size is 500. Okay, 500. And it's important that it be pixels, px, by 375. px. I can hit enter if I want there to make it happen or whatever. And I see this is the actual box I have that I could use to place around the image, which would be that size. And I can grab underneath and move the image around underneath it if I want to. If I wanted to, for some reason I wanted to crop in a little bit, I could grab a corner and crop it in a little bit, make minor changes like that. So I'm changing the amount of image I have there. But when I've decided I have the size I want, I will double click in it. It makes it look much smaller. I can do Control 0 if I want to make it look big again. That's fine. This is only going to be 500 pixels wide, which is way smaller than I'm showing it on my screen right now. So 500, I'm going to go File, Export, Save for Web again. That's all I'm going to do. File, Export, Save for Web. And now I don't have to change anything because the numbers are fine. I'll just say Save. I'll call this base B-ball full. But it is changing it. It's removing some of the stuff that won't work on the web and making it an even smaller file. Baseball full is not into thumbs, it's into the full folder. I'll say save. And now, guess what? I don't have to do the crop again because my sizes, my 500 by 375 comes out to be 100 by 75. So if I just go to File, Export, Save for Web, I can just stick in here a 100 and it becomes 75 automatically for the depth in a thumbnail size for a horizontal image. I click on Save, and I'm going to go up to thumbs, and I'm going to call this one B-ball thumb, and I'm going to say Save. And I could have called those, by the way, I could have called it B-ball 375. Which the idea of putting the number, the idea of putting a width number in particular, maybe both numbers, into the file name is not that unusual. In fact, that way when you could take a photo that you're going to use and you could make it a bunch of different sizes and have it just sitting there, and you could just grab whatever size that you want. So we did pixels and we saved those. So now all you would do to finish this assignment was go through your folders. By the way, you can take a look and see our full ones were very small, 67 and 25, and our thumb ones are truly small, 4 and 6, as opposed to the original sizes, which were much larger. And that's what we want. We want nice small images. So this folder here with the full and the thumb is the one that I would send to zipped folders, and I would submit for the assignment.